It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Next question is from Chase. He says, is it a problem to utilize 0% credit cards as a short-term loan? My house is paid off and 1 year left on a car loan. Thanks.
All right. Is it a problem to utilize 0% loans? But then read it again, the part about the car at the end.
He was just giving you some context. So his house is paid off and he has 1 year left on a car loan. That's his current situation.
And he's asking, is it a problem to utilize a 0% interest credit card or 0% loan on the car?
Utilize a 0% credit card as a short-term loan.
Okay, so here's where my mind immediately goes. You're in a great situation. You got your house paid off, right? So you don't have that debt sitting out there. I'm going to operate on the assumption if you are a financial mutant and you've been doing financial mutant things, you would have a healthy emergency reserve in place. That should be probably somewhere between 3 to 6 months of your living expenses, unless you're closer to retirement. Then it might be like 12 to 18 months of living expenses. So I come back to the why. Like, all right, if you're thinking about utilizing a 0% interest credit card for a short-term loan, why do you need a short-term loan? You don't have debt that you're servicing, so cash flow ought to be feeling okay. I'm assuming that you should have an emergency reserve in place that you could potentially tap into, because that's another way to have a interest-free loan is to borrow from emergency reserve and then pay that back over time. I don't know why you would need to utilize the 0% credit card interest rate. It just doesn't compute in my mind.
Well, I get the feeling that what Chase is trying to do here is he's a financial mutant and he's trying to gamify when banks offer you free money. Why shouldn't you try to co-create your own little arbitrage situation of take the money at zero, go do something with it and maximize. And that sounds good on paper.
Makes me nervous.
Yeah, but this is where I always think about, and we talk about caloric spending of your resources of time. I mean, do you want to waste the horsepower of wealth building time? Because time is so valuable. Am I getting more bang from the buck by trying to go do a 0% interest loan, and opening up this over and over again? Because that's what there are people. They're very successful blogs and other things, points for travel and other things where they're just going crazy, opening up credit cards and so forth to maximize. But I put this in the column. Don't be mad. This is just me saying that's getting busy doing nothing. Mm-hmm. Because yes, you're on paper, it looks like, hey, I found this cool opportunity where I can go exploit this 0%. But man, you have to go open that credit card. And then you have to now keep up to make sure that they don't change the rules on you down the road where all of a sudden now it has an annual fee or, or you somehow that some credit, because I'll tell you, I had a credit card that I still get mad about it because it was one of these hotel credit cards where they charge an annual fee of like $49. And I by the way, when I opened that credit card, it did not have a $49 fee on it.
Something they added
and
later
then
on.
I never used this credit card. I hadn't used this. And so like 3 months, I noticed it when it showed up because I look at my credit report, on one of the Credit Karmas or whatever. And I noticed I had a ding for an unpaid bill. And I was like, what? I pay all my bills. It was a stupid annual fee that just, I guess, for 2 months sat out there, mm-hmm. and it dinged me. So I got it all taken care of. But I'm just telling you, all these strategies where you have 15 credit cards out there just hanging out there, they might bite you in the rear end where you thought you were taking advantage of them. The same thing with store credit cards. I mean, one of the worst things that can happen is they offer you that 10% discount on your purchases when you're doing furniture, mm-hmm. clothing, or whatever. And then you find out that, especially if you're married, that 10% is taken, because if the other spouse doesn't know, the one that's paying the bills, all of a sudden that 10% is wiped out with mm-hmm. the late fees and interest and everything else. So I don't like when you think you're maximizing when you're actually creating complexity. I wouldn't do that because I think that falls into getting busy doing nothing. I would just pay off you're already debt free on your house, be debt free on the car, and then load up the investing, because you're not going to build. I've never had anybody show up and say, you know what got me the wealth? I carried a lot of 0% credit card balances. I mean, it just seems like a lot of time spent for not much benefit.
Yeah, there's sort of the old saying is if you got to put it on the credit card, you can't afford it. I kind of operate, in my personal life, I operate on that. If I put something on my credit card and I know I can't pay it off in the next 30 days, right? Like it's an expense that I don't put it on my credit card. And so doing the 0% short-term loan, it just feels like dangerous territory that I think it'd probably be wise to avoid.